Coach, what was it you liked last week that you think's important that needs to be carried over on this big road game at North Texas?
Yeah, I thought we were dialed in. I thought we came out with a sense of urgency to play well. I'd like to see that continue to carry over. I thought we had our cleats in the ground. I thought we were ready to play ball on basically every snap. There's always things that you'd like to be better at fundamentally, schematically, mentally, all those types of things. But I think just we took steps in the right direction, Scott.
When you look at this offense that's put so many points on the board, what's unique that's making it so effective for them?
Uh, they've got a challenging scheme with great players all over the field. I mean, um, they've got a quarterback. Obviously, is one of the best in the country, if not the best in the country. He gets the ball to guys that can absolutely fly and make plays at all different levels. The offensive line is playing at a high level. The tailbacks are great. They'll make you miss and can take it to the house. Schematically, they present a lot of issues and problems. Um, it's a as good offense as we've seen since I've been here. That's for sure.
It seems like part of that consistency is that they just don't make negative plays. I think they've got maybe four tackles for losses. Is that consistency something that just makes an offense more difficult to deal with?
Well, yeah, I mean they do a great job staying ahead of the chains and staying on schedule. And so they put you in when they don't make mistakes and they don't make negative plays. It puts you in tough positions in terms of downs and distance for them to be able to extend drives and continue to stay on the football field. But I mean,
Thanks, Coach.
they're super efficient at what they do.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Scott.
Wags.
So, kind of talk about the strategy against FAU. You were able to. It seemed as though you're able to kind of cause the quarterback. He wasn't getting the ball out as quick as I think they normally like to. You guys were making him think. I see he didn't have openings, and that's part of where you're able to get to him and get some sacks. Anything without giving away state secrets, so you can say you all did that kind of caused him not to be able to, trigger so quickly.
Yeah, I think the guys, did a great job, just with their disguises and their execution, and not giving just a clear picture right away of what we were trying to get done. And was really impressed with how the guys played and were able to execute those things. Wags, we just had a lot of new guys at new spots, and I thought they really embraced the types of things that we were asking them to do, and did that pretty doggone well for most of the football game.
And it seemed like you were able to keep the ball in front of you in kind of like that, just in front of the second level, and then rally to the ball. Was that kind of part of the game plan?
Yeah, obviously the one early one obviously didn't get that done the way that we wanted to. The second one was sort of a 50-50 ball, and then everything else was pretty much in front of us. And that's critical. I mean, it doesn't matter who you're playing. You cannot give up explosive plays, and it's a challenge this day and age in football. And we got to continue to be better in that aspect. There's a direct correlation with points and explosive plays across college football. But absolutely, you want to be able to put up an umbrella and keep everything inside and in front, and rally to it and tackle and get the ball down. But a lot of these offenses are so efficient. Knowing where the check down is, knowing where the release valve is, knowing where where to go with the football based off of the coverage. It's challenging. Quarterbacks just keep getting better and better. I think there's a lot of elite ones in this league, and been really impressed with obviously the quarterback this week, and I was really impressed with the quarterback last week too.
So it seems as though I think FAU is averaging 10 yards per completion, but this guy averaged a little more. I think in the game against Charlotte, he had 16 passes of 15 yards or more. Can you talk about how that perhaps North Texas is different than FAU?
Yeah, I mean they're obviously running the ball a lot more effectively than FAU. I think they're about 178, 180 yards a game rushing right now. They're throwing the ball, 320 yards a game. They're about 500 yards a game on offense, 46 points. I mean, it's an explosive offense. They are different. They vary their tempos. They can go ultra fast. They can take their time. They can do check with me's, all those types of things. So it's different in terms of a lot of different aspects, but they look to achieve the same results, and that's to gobble up yards and light up the scoreboard.
Thank you.
Just a reminder, 3 questions each. Kyle Goon.
Hey, Coach. I'm writing about Landon Robinson, and it just struck me, even watching your practice last week, he just his quickness and his hands seem just just very different compared to his peers. I mean, what do you kind of see out of him and what he does for the middle of your defense?
I mean, he's elite at what he does. He is exceptional on game day, but obviously, watching practice and seeing how he practices, there's no shock that why he's exceptional on game day is because that's the way he goes about his business. That's the way he practices. He's got exceptional quickness, strength, speed, athleticism. He's an absolute force, a heck of a leader. And when your best player is your hardest worker, I think it makes everybody want to up their ante and be better. But I mean, Kyle, if you could, we just sort of threw him out there his sophomore year and said, "Hey, man, we're gonna teach you, and you're gonna learn on the run." And there's some guys that like just absolutely can't do that. They can't process things quick enough. They can't figure out on the run. Like he just went out there, put his hand in the dirt, and played fast, and made a few mistakes along the way. But it was like a match made in heaven for him to put his hand down on the ground. And then, Coach Hall, Coach Va'a, they work really, really hard with him, and Landon works really, really hard on his free time. Like it's not just, the amount of time the NCAA allows him to do his work. Like he's going to put in the extra time, whether it's in the weight room or watching film, knowing the opponent that he's going against and what moves and counter moves have been successful against them. Like he puts in the work, not just physically, but mentally as well.
Related to that, I mean, what do you feel like, or not feel like, what do you observe that other guys in your defense see from him? I think we all know he's very well outfitted in the weight room. I mean, especially that. But are there other areas where you see guys kind of following the example in the weight room, in the film room, in some other context?
Yeah, I certainly think he's set the tone for us, much like other guys have done before, but like watching tape on your own and making sure that your opponent. Like if you just rely on, the meeting time over here, you just rely on, the practice time. That's not enough. You got to put in the work, and time's precious around here, and it's hard to come by. And guys get pulled in directions all over the place. But he sets the tone in terms of that, Kyle. Like that, like there's an expectation that you put the work in, not just while you're here, but while you're away from here as well, and to make sure that we're fully prepared for what we're going to see.
And then just lastly, he looks like he's on track to double up his sacks from last year, double up his TFLs from last year. Are there things you've built in the scheme that are more centric to him being able to penetrate, or is it also sort of just his execution is just better?
I think a combination of the two. Obviously he's somebody that you go into the game and you try to find ways to get him in um, conducive situations that accentuate what he does and what he does well, and maybe take advantage of something that they don't do well, or that may be a weakness for whatever opponent that you're playing that week. Like that is a major piece of our game planning, is how can we find a way to get 96 in a successful position. And he's obviously, like, you put in the work, you put in the time, you get the reps, like you get better. Like that's how anything in life works. The more time and resources that you put into it, you're going to get better at it. And he puts in the right time, the right resources, and it's not just checking the box. Like he's going out there with a goal of improvement, and that's what you see from him is constant improvement. Like it's such a cliche. Like I was trying to talk to the defense about it the other day. Like it's such a cliche, but like it's so true. Like you're either getting better or you're getting worse. And like guys say it all the time, but like the mental grind of being a Division I football player, being a Division I starter, like it is a mental grind. And like the great ones, they just continue to sharpen their skill sets. Where there's other guys where like I think about it like as a knife, like you sharpen that knife, and there's other guys where it might get a little, as the season moves along, it gets a little more blunt because they're not sharpening that skill set. So that's I think he's a guy that just really is always sharpening his skill set in every manner that he possibly can, Kyle.
Thank you, PJ.
Thanks.
Wyatt Kopelman.
Hey, Coach, as you mentioned, the number of talented quarterbacks in the league this team faces this season, how do you balance game-specific prep for Mestamaker with continuing to refine your overall defensive identity?
Yeah, no, it's a delicate balance. Wyatt is, what are we good at? What can we execute? What can we get done quickly, with the tempo that they do it, and put ourselves in successful positions. And what has he had success with? What has he hasn't had much of the otherwise. I mean, he's been successful with about everything. So it's a challenge, that's for sure. I mean, he's a exceptional quarterback. You talk to other coordinators that have played against him. I mean, guys that I really respect in this profession, and they just, they leave the game thinking that he's even better than they did, going into it. And one of them just there's no doubt that he's one of the tops in the country, if not the best.
Does facing high-level quarterbacks week after week help accelerate the growth of a younger defense like yours that you get to work with kind of uniquely this year?
You'd like to hope so. I think we've faced a lot of good quarterbacks. Obviously, have a great one this week. We see one in practice pretty often. Obviously, different scheme and things like that. But I mean, it's just like anything else. The more, I think back to, just your base learning of scheduling, like in, being back in, high school and stuff like that. Like when you play tough competition, week in and week out, like as the season moves along, you have an opportunity to get better and better. And that's obviously something that is what we're going into is, we've had elite quarterbacks that we've gone against week in and week out. And obviously this week being the best that we faced. So I think it is something that can help us grow, but it is a major challenge, that's for sure.
And you said a couple of times over the past couple of weeks how forcing turnovers comes from playing fast and trusting the fundamentals that are vital on any defensive series. Was that what you saw enough of from your guys against Florida Atlantic?
Yeah, I thought we played fast. I mean, greedy. I always want more. I thought, we had opportunity for several more. Could have been one of those crazy days where you have, 5, 6, 7 plus takeaways. We had a lot of PBUs, had a lot of opportunities on tips to come away with some plays. So I'm greedy. I thought we attacked the ball pretty doggone well, more along the lines of what we need to do for us to be successful. And we need to just keep doubling down on that and getting better when those opportunities do present themselves. But I think we definitely took steps in the right direction, Wyatt. And I'm super, super encouraged by what I saw.
Thank you.
Tim Nolan.
Appreciate it.
Coach, how has Adam Clank continue to elevate your pass rush?
Man, I mean, I told, obviously Coleman was the player of the week in the conference, but then, Tim, we give out awards team-wise and as a staff, like those two guys were both players of the game for us. And I think obviously the pass rush he had, second series of the game, getting the takeaway, letting us get out in front there, short field for the offense. I think that was critical. And I just could not be more excited for Adam Clank and his story of adversity. And you talk about, and we sort of talked about this yesterday with Ricky, and I go back to what I was talking about, as you start to play more and more games, some guys, they just get sharper and sharper. And that's what you see from him. Like, he is ascending. He's getting better and better week in and week out as he goes out there. And he's making us find ways to get his tail on the field so he can go out there and play at a high level. But he's getting better and better every single day. And I mean, I had chills announcing him as player of the game. He was a guy that, just sort of bounced around, and we knew was a great athlete, and finally found a home in the ATK room, and really has just never looked back since then.
You also alluded to Coleman there. To see your excitement when he recorded those turnovers, especially pounding his helmet after the forced fumble, how fulfilling is it for you as a coach when you give a young man an opportunity and they make the absolute most of it in that moment?
Yeah, I could not be more excited for really those two guys. Those are two guys that I've obviously known since they were 17, 18 years old, and had a hand in bringing them here, and to have them have impacts on that stage is phenomenal. Coleman, I joked in the staff meeting or in the team meeting the other day, like, he's taken some tongue lashings from me at times, but he never loses enthusiasm, work ethic. He's made mistakes, but he always makes mistakes going a million miles an hour and going really hard. And he's just gotten better and better since he stepped foot on campus here, and really since he was at Naps. I mean, he that has a lot to do with it. Like the where he was at, I think he led the state of Georgia in tackles as a senior in high school, and he was like 205 pounds on his official visit. He's 230-pound inside linebacker now, and I've seen how hard he works. He is a quiet guy that works his tail off, and he practices like that. And, it's just complete joy and jubilation for him and his family in that moment, Tim. Just extremely excited.
And how did Phil's move back to pushing back in the secondary? How do you feel that unlocked more of his potential as a player?
And I'd be remiss if I didn't. My wife made fun of me for my celebration on a couple of those things. She got after me for basically jump roping with dental floss. But Phil, Phil's just such a competitor. He basically had 8 practices moving positions. And I think that's one of the unique things that we do and then we've instituted in the last few years is like our corners and safeties meet together quite a bit. So there's a lot of understanding of what we're trying to get done on the back end. So I think that helped in terms of that movement there for him. I think Coach Green and Coach Lewis and Coach McDonald did an amazing job, getting that table set for Phil. But Phil works his tail off. Like, it's really important to Phil. Football is really important. And I thought I saw him grow up as the game went along. The first screen they threw out there, he missed the tackle on it. The second one, he tackles and knocks back for about 1.5 yards. A very similar situation. There's a couple times in coverage where you just see him continue to grow as the game moves along. And he can do some things back there that helps us out coverage wise, as we move forward against North Texas.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
PJ, I wanted to ask you about Ira Neha. He's got 7 pass breakups.
Yeah.
The next highest on the team is 2. Are you happy with his development? Last year he was playing really well, then got hurt, and then really never got back into the mix. This year he started second, but now with the changes, he's back out there and seems like he's playing really well. But secondly, would you like to see him maybe catch 1 or 2 of them as well?
Yeah, we're on those guys quite a bit about that, Strauss. We had a couple chances for a few more the other day, and I know that's been a major emphasis for us, really, since spring ball. And Coach Green has those guys on the jugs, but I think Ira is a guy that has really, in his course of time here, has flashed as being absolutely exceptional for us at corner. And I think we're starting to see that more on a consistent level, and I think he's working more on a consistent level to be able to get that done. I think he is starting to play the level that we all expected him to. And obviously, as coaches, we live, Strauss, as we've talked about numerous times before, you live in a world of corrections. So you're correcting, and there's something to correct on every play. But Ira is a guy that his play has made us put him on the field, and it makes us better defensively.
Thank you. We got about 12 minutes left. We'll do 2 questions each this time around. Scott Wyckoff.
Coach, how important, not saying that you're an old dude, but how important is it to have someone like Brenton who can connect with the guys, kind of a middle generation between you and the players, to work with the linebackers like that?
Yeah, it's really important. Scott, I appreciate you asking that. I don't want to say I think they maybe feel a little bit more comfortable with Brenton. I didn't realize it, when I took the coordinator position. I think sometimes that there's a little bit of like, I don't want to, I don't know, show weakness to me or something along those lines. I'm not real sure what it is. I try to be a guy that they can come around and talk to, but then I'll walk down the hall and, there'll be 3-4 linebackers in his office going through the plays with him, and not me. So, and I don't take offense to it, because I know the type of coach that he is, the type of person that he is. I mean, he is extremely sharp, personable, and just an absolute phenomenal teacher. Jason McDonald's on our staff is an excellent football coach. And during fall camp, sat in on one of Wimberley's meetings with some of the younger guys. So we break up the younger guys and try to get them a little bit developmental teaching and things like that. And Jason McDonald comes to me and he goes, PJ, like that level of expertise and teaching and checking for understanding that Brenton Wimberley has as not just a young coach, but as a coach is absolutely exceptional. So we're super fortunate to have him. When Coach Wimberley, when Coach Newberry took over and was like, hey, I'd like to bring in somebody to help you with the linebackers, he was the one and only choice.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Scott.
Wags.
So because they're similar type teams in terms of tempo and style, is it kind of a cut and paste game plan from FAU to North Texas, or do you got to tailor it differently?
No, it's got to be. You got to be different. You can't do the same thing and expect the same results. You know, we got to look at everything and make sure that we're able to, build on some of the things that we did well, Wags, but we can't just carry over the same stuff and go from there. We gotta look at it all. And obviously we got to be better.
How daunting is it to go against a team that's ranked number one nationally in points scored per game? I mean, you must get a knot in your stomach watching that film.
I'll be honest with you. Like, you turn on the tape and they're good, man. Like they're good. Like they jump off the tape quickly. I mean, it is a really talented, well-coached unit that operates at a extremely high level. They're impressive. When you get a chance to catch them on TV every once in a while, they're impressive on TV, and they're even more impressive on the coach's copy.
Kyle Goon.
Thanks, PJ.
Nope. Thanks, Wags.
I'm good. Thanks, Scott.
Let's see. We are at Wyatt.
Hey, Coach. At this time of the season, especially with how Coach Newberry spoke of it on Saturday, how he thought the defense could have finished the game a little bit better. So how do you coach the balance between playing aggressively late in games and then also staying disciplined with tackling form?
Yeah, I mean, each play is independent of itself, Wyatt. We just talked about that 1-0 mentality, and I know it probably gets a little numb for you guys to hear that, but I mean that just really is what it is. Like each play has an absolute life of its own, and it's playing that play like the game depends on it, if that makes sense. I think we did that at times, and I probably could have helped them out a little bit on a couple things later in the football game to keep that score a little bit down. I had a couple things that probably didn't quite go our way, but we'll learn from it and we'll continue to move on. But it just comes back to that 1-0 mentality, Wyatt, and just right then and there we talk about it ad nauseum. But before a football game starts, there's probably 4, 5, 6 plays that are going to actually determine the outcome of the game. You never know which ones they really are. So you better play each one like it depends on it. If that makes sense.
And how different is it preparing a defense for a conference opponent now compared to when you were getting ready for your first AAC game all the way back in week 2?
Ooh, that's a good question. It's still very similar. You have the similar time frame. You've got some new guys and new positions that you're going over some of the base stuff with. Some of the things that happened on Saturday that we gave up. Probably had we had those guys in those positions during training camp, they probably would have had some more banked reps at some of those things and may not have given up on Saturday. So there's a little bit of a learning curve there with those things. So it's pretty similar in terms of the time frame, and especially with shifting to several new faces at new positions and things like that.
Thank you.
Tim Nolan.
PJ asked us to call him a moment ago, but just how exciting is it for your program that you enter the back half of this season? You get ready for November, what Coach Newberry calls for the real ones, and you're at the top of the American right now.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Tim. I haven't even looked at the dang on standings or anything like that. Like and I know that's probably cliche again. My main focus is to have a good Tuesday practice. Make sure these guys are prepared when we get out on the field on Tuesday. I obviously probably one of the biggest joys for me as a coach is the locker room at the end of the week. And doing it right now, you're 0-0 and you're trying to do everything that you can to help the guys be 1-0 on Saturday and have an opportunity in the locker room to celebrate afterwards. Like that, there's nothing like that joy as a coach to just sort of sit back, look at the guys sing, anchors away and throw some water around and then go celebrate, take a picture, have some fun in the locker room, like just because it's a lot of hard work that goes into um, into it all. And these guys have worked really hard. This is a resilient bunch, and they've had a ton of challenges put in front of them. It hasn't been anywhere close to perfect, but it never is. And they just keep showing up and going to work. And as a coach, like, it's a joy to have them come over here every day and get an opportunity to work with them. But that is like the ultimate thing, Tim, if that makes sense. It's just like intense focus on what we can do to help those guys have that feeling on post game.
How has this program been able to wholeheartedly buy into that 1-0 mindset? Because whether it's you, whether it's Coach Newberry, or it's your players, that is something that it's clear everyone really believes in.
Well, it's the only thing that matters is what's right in front of you, and that this in 2023, when we started doing it, like that's just the message, to the guys is it's just what's in front of us right now. And that hasn't changed, and it's consistent, and it takes a ton of mental toughness to be able to execute that. And I think when it comes from the top, obviously Coach Newberry, being the leader that he is, having the influence that he does, with the entire program, and that's the message from him, and then that's the message from us as assistant coaches, and that's the message from the captains, the leaders. Like, it begins to permeate throughout the entire program, and that's the way of life, around here, and that's become the culture. The culture is, it's not what you say you are, it's who that actual act and norms and beliefs of the community. And that's what Coach has created here, is that 1-0 mentality and that mindset. And it's very evident that everyone has bought into it, and we know that that's what ultimately gives us a chance to be successful. And hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. I'm not sure.
I follow. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, PJ.
Appreciate you guys.